Yo, what is up, guys? So we're here to check out the new ban list taking place in January 23rd to be exact, but these are the changes. Spellbook of Fate and Silent Sword Slash are both semi-limited. No longer on the list, Amazoness Baby Tiger. Now there are also changes to the skill rebalancing the skills that you have in Duel Links, but I also want to go ahead and briefly mention that in Duel Links it's a little bit different because if a card is semi-limited, it means that you can only play 2 copies of any semi-limited card. So that means even though both of these cards are on the semi-limited list, you cannot play 2 copies of Spellbook of Fate and 2 copies of Silent Sword Slash. You can play 1 of each, or you can play 2 of Spellbook of Fate and 0 of this. But yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal. So basically, Spellbook of Fate is really annoying, and putting it to 2 doesn't really do anything for necessarily like spellbooks in general, specifically because they can technically recycle Fate anyways. But what it doesn't allow them to do is it does not allow them to actually run like Treacherous Trap Hole or any other card that's semi-limited. So that's the reason why it's a big deal. But again, putting it to 2 doesn't really stop the recyclability of course, Spellbook of Fate, because if you've played against Silent Magician, you know what I'm talking about when they just recycle Fate, and any like back row that you set, it's just going to get end phase banished, and then it's going to get Eternity, search out the card, whatever. Anyways, and it's still pretty it's still pretty annoying to, I would say, deal with. But this is only for, I guess, like higher ranked decks. In fact, while grinding over in Legendary, there's a lot of people playing Silent Swordsman. Of course, they just released the thing in the store where you can go ahead and purchase the card specifically if we go over to the store. The new thing that recently just came out, the Swordbound Silence, a lot of people are actually playing this because you get Silent Sword Slash, and then on top of that you have, of course, Silent Swordsman, the level 4 guy, which just lets you summon a Silent Swordsman monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which everyone just goes ahead and goes for 7. And this makes it very difficult for a lot of decks to trade into because it gets to negate all spell effects on the field. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. Let's go ahead and go back to the notifications here. So, as far as the ban list goes, here's my thoughts on it. I think that overall, it is pretty good changes to actually hit these, but right now, I'd say Quacky Mirrors are actually pretty strong decks. I know some of you guys that play regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, lol, Quacky Mirrors, dude, it's actually pretty nasty. Rook Lord is insane, man, but I understand that they're not going to get hit that fast. I mean, they just made it. But as far as Silent Sword Slash going to 2, again, it really comes down to them not being able to run the other cards. But I feel like Silent Sword Slash is still insane anyways. I would still just play 2 copies of this. Usually, I'm never really willing to give up Treacherous Trap Hole for a majority of my decks because I feel like that card is absolutely amazing. But I'm surprised that Canadia isn't hit on here. We were actually playing last night, and a lot of people were surprised that Canadia was not on here. If you literally go to, like, 9% of your duels will have that card, and like the card is basically in every single deck. But Silent Sword Slash is just really annoying to deal with because if you attack into your opponent and they go Silent Sword Slash, you usually go very minus. But then on top of that, they managed to add another Silent Swordsman, and they're going to summon it, and then if you do anything to the other Silent Swordsman, they're just going to be like, okay, I get another level 7, okay. It's really, again, just annoying to deal with. It's just hard to trade into 2 copies of this, really. But on top of that, you lose, if you attack into it again, and that happens, you usually just end up losing the duel anyways. But that, like, attack boost, it's just so nasty. Before the new, like, little starter structure deck, whatever just came out, I was seeing a little bit of Silent Swordsman. Occasionally I had the times where I would get like OTK'd by it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just once in a blue moon. But now a lot of people are just playing just regular Silent Swordsman. And again, the matchups for being able to negate all of your opponent's spells is pretty nasty. But even at 2, I still think the deck is kind of viable. In fact, like, I think you can hit King of Games relatively easy with it. But as far as Spellbook of Fate goes, I'm glad that they actually hit this. When I was grinding KOG with my Blue Eyes deck, every time it was Silent Magician, it was just like an L, because like I could not trade into Silent Magician, and then I would set a card that would deal with it, and it would just get banished during the end phase, and then I just didn't know how I could respond to it. You had to have basically multiple traps to deal with it in like the next following turn, and that can indeed be difficult. But as far as the Amazoness Baby Tiger, dude, who's even playing Amazons? I played against it like once, like I think literally once, from, I don't know, unranked, because it resets and it puts you back like 5, I think, ranks or something like that. But anyways, I saw it like once, and the only card that I find annoying in that deck is that card where if you attack and they just banish you immediately. That's the only card I find annoying. It's at 1 already, but I just don't feel like this card is that big of a deal. It's basically just something that blocks an attack once per turn. I mean, yeah, it can get some extra attack, but more than likely you're just using it for the other effect. I think it's pretty cool. But overall, I think the changes are pretty good. Again, I understand that Quacky Mirrors won't be a hit. Let me know how you guys feel about Canadia down below in the comment section below. But again, they've actually changed a few things on the skill rebalancing. So let's go ahead and go over that, because this is actually a pretty big deal for, of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, because you have skills, which is basically like a perk. But anyways, they've changed some of the skills. They strengthened a bunch of these skills. So a lot of them have to do with, like, every time your life points would be decreased by X amount, you're able to do something. So they changed the integer on that, so it's 1,000. And then instead of your normal draw phase, you get to draw something else. So you're going to be able to draw a zombie type. With zombie draw, with Bring It, you get to draw a level 8 dark warrior type monster. The one I think is actually really good is Kybercorp Bling. If it was at Galaxy or Cosmic Cyclone, whatever the one decreased by 1,000, you're able to add a Glossy or Prismatic. Kind of pay to win, Kappa, because if you only play like one copy of it, that's just basically searching your deck for whatever like one card that you happen to make Prismatic. I think that is actually pretty dirty. Like for example, in my Mermail deck, I have a Prismatic Heavy Infantry. If there's something that I really need to get rid of, that's not too bad. You can go straight into that, indeed. I'm not sure if I would trade like Mind Scan over, because I love just OTKing people, but still not a bad option. And then we have the Harpy variant, and then there's an Insect type, a Roid Monster, Gravekeeper's card, Psychic or Jinzo, Dinosaur, Spellcaster. Again, these are all by like decreasing by 1,000. Then we have Cyberdark, and then we have Harpy's Last Will, which actually got changed as well. So if you have 4 more Harpy cards in your graveyard, you get to add a Harpy's Feather Duster to your hand from outside of your deck. This skill can be only used once per duel. And this makes me want to build Harpies. Before, I wanted to actually build Spellbooks, but then with Fate at 2, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it right now anyways. It's not like something I'm really desiring to go for. But with Harpy's Last Will, dude, I'm really down to build Harpies now. Just being able to Feather Duster and get rid of like all those wall disruptions, all the Canadias. But the problem that I have with running specifically Last Will is that like after I destroy like my opponent's background, then I activate the Hysteric Party, or what is it? The card that brings back all like as many Harpies as you want by like discarding a card. Specifically, once I go for that, then I'm just gonna go Canadia and bring it back, and then you have something to block an attack with. Maybe I can like mess around with Econ, but I still think that specifically that card is really annoying to deal with. Like Canadia just in general, it's just very resilient. But anyways, Miracle Fusion can be used when your life points are 2,000 or below. Instead of conducting normal draw, Miracle Fusion is added to your hand from outside of your deck. The skill can only be used once per duel. And as far as the targets with Miracle Fusion, there's no Ab-Zero, no Shining. There's a lot of things that like I wish Duel Links had, but because of that, Miracle Fusion is not, I would say, the most powerful card at the moment. In fact, I don't think even I've seen one hero player even use that skill, or even Miracle Fusion in general, on that card that just came out. But anyways, those are my thoughts about the whole skill rebalancing. You guys can let me know what you think about this new list. You guys like it? Was there anything else that you guys wished was hit or wasn't hit? Personally, for me, again, like Canadia specifically, every time I go Megalo, it's like Canadia every single time, man. But that card is just almost every deck when you're in KOG or Legendary, everyone's just playing like 3 copies of it. It's just one of those cards that's splashable. So almost like basically Book of Moon anyways, but then it also kind of acts as like another 1,200 attacker sometimes. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down below on this. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the vid. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, want to see more Duel Links as well as other discussion Yu-Gi-Oh videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button to see more. But anyways, I'll also be live streaming Duel Links. Well, actually, the time that this video is out, I'll be live streaming. And on top of that, if you're not following me on Twitch, follow me on Twitch. I'll put it there in the pinned comment below. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. I'm signing out.